Today's question is, what are my spiritual strengths and weaknesses, and how can I improve them? I mean, I could give a long list, but we're still only in the 6 to 7 minute realm of videos. So I am going to just give one spiritual strength and one spiritual weakness. I'll do what I consider to be two of my strongest. My biggest spiritual strength is that I am very acutely aware of what I don't know. The main problem in trying to have any sort of insight is that we already feel like we know so much. The path to spiritual enlightenment requires a whole lot of unknowing. There's a saying that you cannot fill up, a full teacup. Like if it's already filled to the brim, you can't pour in anymore, right? Our egos are just stuffed to the brim with things that we are personally certain of. And oftentimes it's blind certainty. It's that we just want an answer, or we have an answer that makes us feel comfortable. Right down to the very basic fundamentals of the world. I mean, I don't know that the earth is spherical. I remember one time, specifically in physics class, they were talking about electrons, and one guy in my class asked, how do we even know that these things exist? And of course, the physicist would give you an answer and stuff, but it's like, okay, until I have that kind of proof, I don't know. I don't know that electrons exist. I don't have any personal experience of a lot of the things that I have completely accepted as true because I read them somewhere or because I was taught them. It doesn't mean that they're not true. It just means that I am trusting somebody else. I have formed a belief because what somebody else taught me seemed credible. And I did not actually find that truth via my own means. Anything that I did not find through my own means is a belief. It is not me knowing. Truly. Now, of course, that's very easily said, but I still do have a lot of things that I'm probably blindly accepting. So maybe it's not that I'm acutely aware that I don't know things. It's more I'm acutely aware that there is more and more that I can unknow to get to the truth. I'm acutely aware that all that I can ever really trust is my own direct experience of the truth. My greatest weakness is that I believe that I am Joe. I fully identify with this body and this mind and this everything related to my likeness, regardless of how much I want to think that I'm egoless, regardless of how much I want to think that I'm already there. I still fundamentally am operating, even on this spiritual journey, doing these spiritual practices. It is Joe doing them. Joe, who I believe to be me. I have not had a deep personal experience of not identifying with Joe, unfortunately. I've had little tiny glimpses through a tiny pinhole sometimes, but for the most part, I have been effectively operating in this world as Joe. There is no need to destroy the ego. I went to a little intensive with Adyashanti, which was amazing. And one of the things that he said was, only the ego thinks the ego needs to be destroyed. And the whole crowd went, that was just such a glass shatter for everybody. The ego doesn't need to be destroyed. It is the tool that we use to operate in this in this world, and we just don't need to identify with it. But to not identify with it is scary. If I don't identify with what I have to recognize as Joe, what do I have? And I mean, that's the question, isn't it? That's the real ticket. But for right now, yeah, I am a guy named Joe who wants a spiritual awakening partly for personal gain. As much as I read those things that say, like, I have truly attained nothing through enlightenment, the presence of mind sounds nice, the calmness sounds nice, the not caring one way or the other what happens to me sounds nice. And those might be completely inaccurate interpretations of what enlightenment is. But Joe wants those things because they will somehow make him better. And, I mean, obviously all the materialistic things. Joe wants a really nice house. Joe wants lots of money in a savings account. Joe wants a pretty girlfriend, which I think I can mention finally. I already have one of those, and she's wonderful. Joe wants a lot of things for himself. Joe wants you to like this video. Joe wants more views. Joe wants more subscribers. Joe wants attention. Joe wants the world to think that he's smart and brilliant and talented and can do no wrong. But the little glimmer of light in that is that I see that. And I see why that is an issue. It's just the not identifying with the ego anymore, the actual practice of it, that I haven't quite nailed down.